All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Luciana Paz, and we are here for another product training presentation. Every week, I plan to present a little bit more detail on a couple of oils. Today, we're going to talk about 4 oils. So you're either going to be talking about a special condition, or we're going to be going deep into some oils, their properties, their emotional properties, how they can help us support certain conditions and help us in our everyday lives and wellness. Okay, so today we'll be talking about basil. Okay, basil, black pepper, cinnamon, and helichrysum. Okay, 3 very powerful oils. I'm sorry, 4 very powerful oils. So let's start with basil. Therapeutical uses of basil. Basil is an oil that I think it's underused. It's so powerful. If people knew, they would use more. So properties. Basil is antibacterial, antifungal, anti-infections, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, powerful antispasmodic. Okay, so when you have cramps and this type of things, it's an amazing oil. Antiviral, decongestant, diuretic, and uplifting. Basil is also anticatarrhal, antidepressant, energizing, and restorative. Okay, it can be used in these conditions, not only, as I always mention, every week we mention that these are only, some conditions. If you go deep into that, if you look in the books, there's a lot more conditions that basil can help with, okay? But amenorrhea, bites and stings, bronchitis, bursitis, earache, chronic fatigue, cramps, abdominal cramps, and induced sweating, okay? Other uses of basil. Basil may help with alertness, anxiety, chills, chronic colds, concentration, nervous depression, digestion, fainting, migraines. Oh, about migraines, a lot of people, we know that peppermint is amazing for migraines. So, and a lot of people tell me, Luciana, peppermint, doesn't do the trick for me for migraines or headaches. Basil is a great alternative, okay? You can use it neat on your skin, no need for dilution. But if you're using all the time, yes, you can make a roll-on. You can put maybe 10 to 15 drops of basil, fill the rest with coconut oil, fractionated coconut oil, and you can, use. It's really, really good for migraines. Insect bites. Insect repellent is an insect repellent, a natural repellent. Works for poor memory, whooping cough, and viral hepatitis. Aromatic influence helps one maintain an open mind and increases clarity of thoughts. Okay, so that's a very powerful oil there. Basil, emotionally, basil is the oil of renewal. Okay, let's see a little bit more about basil. Just hold on one second here. I need to move something. Okay. So basil helps improve primarily fatigue, low energy, being overwhelmed, and the inability to cope with life's stressors. The aroma brings strength to the heart and relaxation to the mind. It's excellent for states of nervousness and anxiousness and despair. Okay. Supports people who are under a great deal of mental strain and brings rejuvenation after a long period of burnout or exhaustion. I feel that, basil is for those people who are, they feel they're holding, life. It's heavy and they're like carrying life on their shoulders, and maybe moms taking care of kids or single moms, I don't know, but people who take a lot, right? And then you need just to see life differently, and you need to see a new perspective. Okay, that's how basil is good for. Basil strengthens the adrenal exhaustion and restores the body to its natural rhythms of sleep, activity, and rest. It gives hope and optimism to the tired soul. Who needs it? And anxious people, overwhelmed, drained, exhausted, negative habits, okay, when you need to renew your habits. It can be used aromatically or topically, okay. Basil can also be used internally, okay, for some of the other conditions that we talked about. But for the emotional side, I love the aromatic use. So you can put 3 to 5 drops over the adrenal glands, which is in your lower back, or bottoms of your feet in the morning and before bed, okay? So you can use it topically. The aroma of basil, I love it. Of course, this is very personal. Some people don't like it, and if you don't like, you can use it in the bottoms of your feet. But you know, it's powerful. It's powerful. All right. And basil is also an amazing, we saw before, antibacterial. So people who know about, you know, the properties of melaleuca for earaches, basil is a great alternative also for, you know, ear discomfort. If you have children, or if you have problems, you know, sometimes we get, you know, a beginning of an ear infection because we go to the beach or to the pool, and, you know, or water get stuck in our ears. Basil is an amazing oil for that too. All right. So let's move on to black pepper. If anyone has any questions, just put on the chat. Black pepper, therapeutical uses is an analgesic, anti-catarrhal, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, antispasmodic, antitoxic, aphrodisiac, expectorant, laxative, and a stimulant. The uses for black pepper: good for addictions, is a stimulant of the endocrine system, chills, colds, coughs, diarrhea, heartburn, flu, nausea, okay. Coughs, colds, just an example for you. I made cough blend for my daughter recently. Last week, she got a little bit of a cold, so she had this mucus and a little bit of cough. So I prepared a natural syrup for her, and I used black pepper. I used some peppermint, lemon. I put some expectorants, you know, in this blend, a little bit of honey, and a little bit of water. I used an empty bottle. Of essential oils, and I put all that, and I completed with half of it with honey, and then the rest, I fill the rest with water. And, you know, you have to shake it well, right? So the honey and the essential oils and the water mix. And I would give her like a teaspoon every 2 hours. The cough went away in less than 24 hours. Really, really amazing. Okay. So other uses of black pepper, this oil may help with flatulence when combined with fennel, neuralgia, poor circulation, poor muscle tone, sprains, toothache, vertigo, viruses, and vomiting, okay? And pepper, aromatic influence, pepper is confronting and stimulating. I haven't heard I haven't heard any testimonials about black pepper, but it's very, very indicated for people with addictions. If someone would like to know a little bit more about that, we can look into that. But if I'm not mistaken, is to be used topically on certain points of the feet, depending on what the addiction is. But we can look into that. You can send me messages if you'd like to know about addictions, okay? But black pepper is the first one. Indication for addictions. So, emotional side of black pepper, the oil of unmasking. So black pepper reveals the masks and facades used to hide aspects of the self. We have learned from childhood that certain feelings and behaviors are not good and should be hidden, right? Since we are kids, we learn that. And sometimes we have a trait in our personality that goes against the culture of the place we live, or, you know, the whatever. And we learn to repress certain, you know, traits of our personality, certain parts of ourselves, right? And we learn to hide, repress, and condemn. Individuals learn from early age to be loved, that to be loved, they need to hide undesirable aspects of themselves behind a mask or facade. Black pepper invites individuals to get real by digging deep within the less understood parts of the self. It also reignites the soul fire, fueling motivation and high energy. Okay. And I feel that sometimes we don't even know that we have this hidden mask, right? That this hidden part of ourselves, right? So it's interesting. When I learned about that, I don't even use black pepper that much, but when I learned about that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's scary at one, like on one side, right? But also very, it's very instigating. I don't know. It's kind of, you know, learning more about ourselves. So that's, you know, that's it. And maybe we are aware that we have, you know, this mask. I think we are all a little bit aware, right, that we have these masks. But that's very, very powerful, right? The emotional side of black pepper. Moving on, cinnamon. That's a very powerful oil as well. So cinnamon, we're talking about strong oils today, I have to tell you. Cinnamon, therapeutical uses of cinnamon. We all know, if you're ready with doTERRA, we all know cinnamon very much when you use it a lot. If you have On Guard, a lot of people love On Guard. It's in this blend, the On Guard blend, together with clove and wild orange and some other amazing oils. So cinnamon is antibacterial, antidepressant, antifungal, anti-infections, intestinal and urinary, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, antiparasitic, antiviral, immune stimulant. You see, that's why it's On Guard. Purifier, sexual stimulant. We're going to see about the emotional side of cinnamon and why it's so powerful. And warming. So we have warming oils, right? And cinnamon is an oil that we actually need to be careful. I should have put maybe a note, but we cannot use cinnamon neat. We cannot use cinnamon without dilution directly on our skin, okay? We have to be very careful, especially with kids. You have to dilute very, in a very strong, you know, concentration. I'm sorry, low concentration. Bacterial infections, bites, stings, breathing, diabetes. Cinnamon is known to regulate our blood sugar. So it's a great oil to take internally, okay? You can take with your water. Always start, you know, low, like start with 1 drop, see how you feel, see how your body responds. And from there, you work on the concentration you feel good about. But it's an amazing oil for people who have problem with regulating their blood sugar. Diverticulitis, fungal infections, low libido, mold, pancreas support, okay, among other uses, of course. So other uses, this oil fights viral and bacterial infections, diseases, and testing has yet to find a virus, bacteria, or fungus that can survive its presence. You see how powerful it is? Isn't that amazing? That like testing has yet to find a virus, bacteria, fungus that can survive its presence. That's why On Guard is so amazing, right? People who take On Guard, I take On Guard daily. Like it's vital for our immune support, okay? And cinnamon is in this blend. So the emotional side of cinnamon is the oil of sexual harmony. Cinnamon strongly supports the reproductive system and helps heal sexual issues. Assists individuals in accepting their bodies and embracing their physical attractiveness. Nurtures healthy sexuality. It repairs sexual energies where there have been repression, trauma, or abuse. It can also bring clarity to those who should struggle with their sexual identity. Assist individuals in relationships where insecurities are shown by jealousy or control. Encourages the soul to let go of control and allow others to be free. Cinnamon invites individuals to be honest, vulnerable, thereby allowing true intimacy to emerge. Right? So if there is any trauma related, in your past, or if you know someone who had any cases of trauma or abuse, that's an amazing oil to heal that part of themselves, which is so important, right? Uses: dilute 1 drop or less with fractionated coconut oil and apply it over the sacral chakra, which is in our lower stomach. Okay, so can use this daily. Once a day should be enough, but it's and you can also use it aromatically. It has a very strong aroma, but it's it does the trick, okay, as well. Any questions up to here? Let's see some. Alrighty. Okay, let's go move forward to Helichrysum. That's really an amazing oil too. I love Helichrysum. So Helichrysum therapeutic uses antibacterial, anticatarrhal, anticoagulant, antioxidant, antispasmodic, antiviral, expectorant, mucolytic. Tooth abscess, bleeding, bruises, broken blood vessels, cholesterol, cuts, dermatitis, eczema, hematoma, herpes simplex, sciatica, stroke, viral infections. When I started with doTERRA, I met Helichrysum very early. People don't use, usually they don't have this oil. It's not a cheap oil, but it's so potent. So Helichrysum is an oil. So when I started with doTERRA, my kids, they had very often, when they were a little bit smaller, they had nose bleedings very often. Okay, and Helichrysum is the first one to stop bleeding, okay, for any type of bleeding. So I learned very early on to put a drop of Helichrysum in my hands, and I would hold the bridge of their nose for a couple of minutes, maybe 3 minutes. It takes a little bit, but it would stop the bleeding. And this is true for cuts, wounds, if you have anything, and it helps with the healing as well. If you have for something on your skin, for scars and all that, Helichrysum is amazing. Okay. So, and if you know a product that doTERRA has called Correct X, it contains 3 of the most powerful oils for healing, it's an ointment, okay? It's it's an ointment for cuts and scratches. And Correct X contains lavender, frankincense, and Helichrysum, and I think another oil that I don't remember right now. But that's to show you that's how powerful it is for healing the skins and wounds and all this type of things. So this oil may help with anger management, bleeding, circulatory functions, whooping cough, headaches, liver ailments, and skin disorders, okay? Aromatic influence, it's uplifting to the subconscious mind and may help calm feelings of anger. And let's go to the emotional side, the oil for pain. We're talking about very difficult emotional situations here today. So Helichrysum, the oil for pain. Helichrysum is an amazing healer of pain from life circumstances such as trauma, self-destruction, loss, or abuse. I'm sorry, but I have part of my Zoom screen that's covering the presentation. All right. Or abuse. This oil gives the powerful spiritual support that these individuals need, giving strength and endurance. This oil restores confidence in life and in the self, giving individuals strength to carry on. Helichrysum has a powerful relationship with the light of the sun imbuing joy, fervor, and hope for living. It will teach individuals to have gratitude for their trials, helping them see that their past wounds resulted in a spiritual rebirth. It brings life to those in need of rebirth. Uses it, you can apply 1 to 2 drops over heart or wherever the pain is experienced. We usually know where we feel the pain, right? Like, especially if we have a traumatic circumstances from our past, we know if it's in the stomach or if it's in the heart. Use it right there, okay? It will help dissolve that feeling and that anguish, right, that we feel, and so that we can find, joy in our lives again, and we have this rebirth. All right, any questions, people? Well, and that's it that I had to share today with you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm going to stay here a little bit if you have any questions, if you'd like to discuss anything. If you have any experience with any of these oils, please share here, okay? I would love to hear. All right, thank you so much. Have a great evening and see you next week. Bye-bye.